Richard Kistnen here. Hope you're doing well. I'd like to introduce some of the services that I do, and one of the particular types of law that I practice is bankruptcy law. So I service and help people here. So if you're looking for a bankruptcy attorney in Queens, New York, I'd love to introduce you to the law office of Richard Kistnen. Lots of people file for bankruptcy each and every month here in Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, all over New York City, and for lots of different reasons. Bankruptcy isn't limited just to someone who's completely broke or enduring lots and lots of lawsuits. People with houses file for bankruptcy, people with cars, people with businesses. So people from all different facets of life in all different income brackets are eligible to file for bankruptcy. And you'd be surprised, it's generally simpler and easier than you would think. The process itself, a Chapter 7 case, often takes for most of my clients, just about 4 months in total from the time of filing until the time the discharge order is entered. And for most people that file, you'll only have to appear in court one time, usually one time, where a trustee who's assigned to your case asks you questions such as whether you own a house, car, bank account information, just to make sure that you're not hiding any assets, you're not committing fraud, and that the case, your estate, is being administered properly. Some of the most important things when you do file for bankruptcy, one, you got to make sure that you disclose everything. So if you're intending on filing for bankruptcy, one thing that I have to encourage you to do is on your schedules in the bankruptcy paperwork, be sure to list everything. It's better to overlist than to underlist. So you want to include all of your income information, all of your expense information, anything that you may have an interest in. So, sometimes people forget that they have a share in a house, even though they don't own it. They may have co-signed with somebody, but that's a huge asset that you have to be aware of if you're filing for bankruptcy. Another common reason that lots of people end up filing for bankruptcy is because they co-signed on a car. So in addition to just the debt, you may have to check and see whether or not you're on the title to the vehicle and include that ownership interest in your bankruptcy filing. So again, I just want to throw it out there, if you're dealing with debt, you're struggling with it, be sure to reach out to an attorney. Look into bankruptcy. It's a great option. I've had lots of clients at the end of the case. Usually I tend to ask, what their experience is, what their experience was with filing for bankruptcy, and often the response I'll get is that they wish they had filed it sooner because they spent so much time and energy worrying, being anxious, stressed. And this is something that's there for corporations and for individuals. One thing that a lot of people tend to ask me during the intake is about the stigma with bankruptcy, and it's actually pretty odd because there are corporations. A company, a multi-million-dollar ice cream company, recently filed bankruptcy, and in the press release, it said that it was a strategic decision. So my question is very simple. If you're considering filing for bankruptcy and concerned about stigma, don't look at it as you're at the end, the end of your wits. This is the last straw. You have no other options. That's the wrong way to look at bankruptcy. What you want to think about bankruptcy and bankruptcy law is that it's strategic decision. Maybe you've been sued by someone, right, or something, and you've got to weigh the cost of defending that lawsuit. Maybe the strategic decision is to file for bankruptcy to handle that lawsuit. Maybe you're dealing with a mortgage issue and you're trying to figure out what's the best way to maybe take care of the arrears and come back current with your mortgage. It may be a strategic decision to file for bankruptcy. That's what bankruptcy law is there for. I was listening to a podcast recently, and this really famous marketer said, he talked about the bankruptcy laws and shared that one of the greatest gifts that our founding fathers gave to us was the bankruptcy code, whereas in other countries at the time there were debtors' prisons, and here the bankruptcy laws were enacted to prevent people from being thrown into jail because of debt. So it's something that you can't look at it as the last straw. It's only when you've got nothing left, no other options. Think about bankruptcy as a strategic decision. And when you look at it through that lens, you'll see that it's one of the best things that you can do. So with that, if you're in New York City and you have questions about debt, you want to know how bankruptcy can help you, again, with mortgages, with cars, with lawsuits, with garnishments, with lots of different options, it's a great start to make the call reach out to an attorney. If you'd like to contact my office, the law office of Richard Kistnen, I'd love to speak with you about your debt and see whether or not bankruptcy can help you, particularly if you're living in the 5 boroughs. My office here, again, if you're looking for a bankruptcy attorney in Queens, my office is in South Ozone Park, New York, so servicing Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, and I do spend a lot of time in Manhattan, so also if you're in Manhattan and the Bronx, I'd be happy to meet with you to discuss bankruptcy. So again, if you're looking for a bankruptcy attorney in Queens, please contact the law office of Richard Kistnen. I can reach at 718-738-2324, or you can find out more at my website, www.lork.com. Until next time.